kind of funny joke about this, but I kind of fell flat on my face. This is Human Fall Flat, no breaks games done on the Unity engine. It's about if you timed it right, you could have grabbed it on Humble for $1, but normally it goes for around 15 of your local particular currency. What is it? Human Fall Flat is a quirky, I hate that fucking adjective, open-ended, physics-based puzzle and exploration game set in floating dreamscapes. Your goal is to escape these surreal dreams by solving puzzles with nothing but your wits and physics and noodle arms. Well, we bought it for $1 because it was cheap. No keys this week. So let's cue the chairquisition. 1 chair means that's garbage. 2 chairs means that it's meh. 3 chairs means that's pretty good. 4 chairs means that's great. And we got our categories mixed with the working, shiny sounds, controls, and fun. So Ven, on the new, did you play this on the new Ryzen box of business, or was this still on the 8150?
This is one of the few ones that actually this will be the only game that got a taste of both on the old previous box of business, the 8150. It basically ran even at UHD 3840 by 2160 on the 980. No issues whatsoever on the current Tipsy Danger box of business 2.0 Ryzen 1700 at 3 gigajoules, 16 gigajoules of RAM with the same 980. Same thing, but better same thing, because it really will not drop below 60. Nor should it, because come on, this thing's about as complex as tofu. Not much to it.
It looks like tofu, too.
Hey, man, tofu's delicious. I do get a ding at a chair, though, because I could not, effing life of me, and I run XFCE4, separate X screens, could not get the damn thing to go into a 1080p window to save my mothering life. So, for that irritating little bug, it gets 3 chairs.
Yeah, I didn't try getting it to run in a window, but I did play this on both the Steam box with the A10 5800K with the GTX 750 Ti, and this box with the i7 6700K and the GTX 980. Both ran perfectly fine, no real issues. Everything ran smoothly. Again, this game looks like a piece of wet tofu, so it's not going to be that graphically demanding. If anything, it would be the physics. But that's all done on CPU because, fuck Linux. Anyways, Fedora 2664-bit for both of those. I got to give it the, what do you call it, the 4 chairs.
4 chairs. I guess I should say I'm running Ubuntu 1704. Right.
Yeah.
All right. And over here on Ubuntu 1604 with the FX8370E and the 1080, I don't think I ever saw it drop below 150 FERPs after turning off VSync, because that's the first thing I do when I go into a game. I just turn off VSync, and it dipped to 160 at one point while it was loading the level, but then it went right back to the high 200s, low 300s, which is where it usually sits. So for me, it gets 4 chairs.
All right, well, that is 4 chairs for mix with the working. How about Shiny and Sounds, Ven? What did you think?
Shiny and Sounds, looking at this amazing visual, graphical juggernaut. Yeah, okay, it's basically flat textured. It looks like a prototype, and they said, fuck it, let's run with it, and just call it stylized, which is what they did. No, I mean, this is what they were going for. When you design something like this, it's simple, it's pretty simple, but it's intentional like this. This isn't lazily done. You can clearly tell that. Not much to say. I mean, imagine like a 3D world of no textures. This is an amazing world. Whatever you might say about the way it looks, what's really going to get you is the way it sounds. The soundtrack for this game is mood music times what the fuck, because it really genuinely puts your brain organ in a completely different place than what you're doing on screen. It's like, what the... okay, completely different feel. I'll let Pedro elaborate on that business a bit more, but I think it absolutely aesthetically nails what it was going for. And the music is WTF worthy in a good way. I'm glad to be able to say that, and I'm pretty positive about giving it 3 chairs.
Yeah, see, I couldn't really hear the soundtrack over the sound of my own grinding teeth, but that's maybe something else. I mean, your weird little Play-Doh man. He looks like a weird little Play-Doh man. There's not much else I can say about it. I mean, it definitely goes for an aesthetic, and for what it does, it works. It's a shitty puzzle game about being a shitty puzzle guy doing shitty puzzle things, and I can't really fault it for that. It's just not particularly remarkable in any real sense of the word. So I mean, I really just got to give it 2 chairs. It does what it needs to do to get the job done, and that's what it gets its points for.
See, I agree with Jordan on the graphics. They serve one purpose, and that purpose is for you to know where your character is and for you to see where the level designer wanted you to go in order to finish the level. The visuals, they do that, and they only do that and absolutely nothing else. No bonus points there. The music, on the other hand, Wow, okay, it actually manages to turn a glorified wonky physics platformer into just this completely derpy but very epic adventure. Sometimes, at some points, the music just kicks in at just the right time for you to actually feel motivated in finishing the level and actually progressing and making headway into what you're doing. It's really, really good at what it does. And as far as the music goes, yes, it does get bonus points there. The graphics, well, they're a bit meh. So it gets 3 chairs.
Well, that means that it gets 2 chairs for the shiny and the sounds, as I'm just chuckling at Pedro smacking into walls. Anyways, up next is controls.
Hey, man, he's doing the happy dance, and you're going to be doing the same thing with the controls.
Hail Hydra!
Yeah, praise flying spaghetti monster. I played it with the X-Clone controller, and I gotta say, 100%. I caught myself saying this out loud. Really, what you're looking at right now is when I said it. It's like that is absolutely a good use of available controls. You know, watching Pedro do it. I was like, yeah, clearly Pedro's had a little bit to drink, but.
Shut up.
The whole like reaching up and going down with the yoga and all that fun stuff, the way it's laid out and the way you do it on just a basic X-Clone controller, Xbox or whatever, anything with twin sticks, it's like, that's well done. That's logically okay. I can dig this. So good on them. Not much more than that. I can say, you know, it's definitely got some RNG built into it just for that added bit of fuckery, but that's something you basically know you're going to get the title screen of this damn game. Can't really hold it against it. There's nothing. It's like, oh man, the controls aren't tight enough, or maybe it's not precise enough. You know what you're getting into. You're getting into 3 chairs, baby.
Yeah, I mean, under normal circumstances, this would get 2 chairs on the controls, but it's kind of the point of the game that it is like kind of crappy controls. I'll agree with you, Ben. It's like very intuitive. You're where what buttons do what is pretty clear cut. Especially with the keyboard and mouse, no real issues there. My issue though is, god damn it, you cannot fucking grip on something for the life of you. I want like gang beast individual control of arms, right? But like when you're trying to climb stuff and like the one arm just will not stick for whatever fucking reason because it's decided that it decided that, oh no, you're not at the right freaking camera angle. Also for me, the camera kept like moving into weird positions, which kept moving my character's hands around, which was really, really frustrating. At least to me, anyways. What I for like some of the climbing jump segments, I had to adopt some like weird claw posture with my hand, which I guess is kind of native for like Pedro's case, but for me, not so much. I mean, they're all right. And any complaints I have about the controls of this game are semi mitigated by, well, that's kind of the point, Jordan, you fucking idiot. So I will compromise and give it 3 chairs.
You know, for a game which relies on shoddy, flaily physics, the controls were surprisingly responsive. At no point did I feel like, oh, okay, that was the game's bullshit fucking me over. No, okay, I was sort of expecting that from the physics, but actually, when I did fuck up, it was very clearly my fault, and I felt like it was my fault, and that to me just means that, okay, the controls are doing what they should be doing, and I'm just the one who sucks. And that's fair. So if I suck, well, the game doesn't have to suffer for it. 4 chairs.
Did you try and take the TV through the door? I tried to take the TV through the door. I'm like, fuck you, bitch! I'm stealing this TV
through the window and bashed the window. Now I go through the door. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I tried to bring the TV along with me, and it snapped in half. And I'm like, oh, okay, you could do that with TVs apparently. Anyways, that's 3 chairs for controls. Let's put a bow on it. Then, did you have fun playing Human Fall Flat?
Hey man, Human Fall Flat. Human Fall Flat. Oh.
Listen, that's the name of the game when I slip and fall in the shower, man. That's too real.
Triggered. Listen, man, this is a fun little fuck around game. A radically overpriced fuck around game, but fun nonetheless. And if you're like me, a high functioning alcoholic, you're looking at this going, shit, son, that's easy mode. I could operate that IRL. Mm-hmm. So, this is just like a VR version of a typical afternoon. It says it's supposed to be quirky and humorous and all that. I haven't run into those parts yet. Right now, it's just like clumsy puzzles. I mean, it's entertaining. Like I said, it's a fuck around game. I haven't put too much serious thought into it. It's like, I can kill some time playing this. Don't necessarily hate it. It's like the first hour and a half just seems like one overly long tutorial with a bunch of wickedly simple puzzles. And, the little remotes that you run into, those are kind of fun. He's like, yeah, they're how-tos of like, yeah, you're fucked and all that. Like a Stanley Parable light type narration thing going on there. You can customize your characters, and, this thing should basically run on anything up to and including a calculator. If you picked it up at the Humbly Bundly, pay what you want, even $1 if you're cheap. You got a good deal. You got something that's definitely good for a Steam box and kill some time with. This is not something that's going to tie up your attention for hours upon end, but yeah, it's kind of a semi-open world bipedal goat simulator, #show title, but I'll give it the middle of the road, man. It's not fantastic, but it's not a bad game at all, so I'll give you a solid 2.
There's some comments floating around the water cooler that would seem to indicate that if there was some online multiplayer, that this game might be a little more fun. I think the only thing that online multiplayer would do for this game is just like spread the suffering a little bit, so that you don't have to suffer in silence alone. The puzzles aren't really insanely complex. It's just like a very convoluted set of steps that you need to do to accomplish them. The problem with that is it makes every little fucking thing an ordeal. And with like the really slippery control, your man bounces when like you land jumps sometimes, which results in you just like falling off a cliff when you're like, I did not instruct my character to do this at all. He just kind of did that of his own volition. Or like when you're climbing up like really narrow high beams to get to like a high spot, and then you'll just like, oh, I lost my balance. So now I got to start over again. And it's just I get that it's the point of the game, but it's not fun. I don't derive enjoyment from it. Yeah, there's like a little bit of accomplishment when you finish the level and you're like, yeah, I did it. And then you're like, oh, well, time to go do some more puzzles. And also it's a lot less open worldy than you would think. There's really only like 1 or 2 real ways to solve the puzzle, and you can sort of there's like the easy way, and then there's if you're persistent enough, you can sort of cheese your way into the alternate solution.
Very much telegraphed.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not as open world as you think. It's more really how do I fumble to get to this goal. I just did not enjoy this game. I see what it is, and it does that job well enough. But would I recommend this to someone? Not really. 1 chair.
Yeah, as a third-person platformer, Human Fall Flat is infuriating. As a challenge sandbox with wonky physics where you're given almost complete freedom to reach the end of the level, well, in that respect, it's almost unmatched. Unfortunately, it is still infuriating and has wonky physics, and it's a third-person platformer that has to rely on said wonky physics. It also suffers from a lack of content and variety of content. The game is very short. I didn't actually made it to the end, but looking at the average play times on Steam, people haven't been spending a lot of time with it, and that's because it's very short. And after a point, you start to see like repeat elements, and that is to be expected in puzzle games, of course, but it's the levels tend to become increasingly bigger and bigger, and you keep doing the same things over and over and over again, and it feels like a chore at points. Now, there are things that I like, and like in most puzzle games, this one specifically, it lets you get past any one situation in a multitude of different ways. Yes, most of those were planned right from the get-go, because, hey, they made the game, so chances are they kind of knew what they were doing. And much like Goat Simulator, yeah, I do feel like online multiplayer would have helped the experience quite a lot. So as far as, if you take that into account, as far as this particular segment goes, the for now fun category gets 2 chairs, but the moment the game gets online multiplayer, be free to come back and add just the 1 extra chair for my score.
Either way, that totals it out to 1 chair for the fun and 2 chairs for the final score. What you guys got to think about this? Wrap it up, put a bow on it. Final thoughts?
It's a humbly bundly, so admittedly, I only gave him a 5, but I thought that was fair for 2 games, possibly one that we were going to review. And get $14? Oh, fuck no. No. If you see this on sale for 5 or less, add it to your collection just for something to do. Like Pedro said, it's not very long. And this is probably not something you want to will to your children.
Yeah, I mean, as entertaining, as marginally entertaining as it is to like sort of watch your baby man sort of wander around like a toddler with no real upper body strength, it does get really tedious really quickly. If you're into this stuff, or like, so the couch multiplayer works. I accidentally hit the start button on one of the controllers plugged into the TV with my butt, and and yeah, so it did the automagic split screen, which is pretty nice. But yeah, after a certain point, at least for me, it was just really more of this shit. Whatever. I got 2 hours in. I'm done.
Yeah, Human Fall Flat comes really close to being a proper game, while still relying on the wonky physics and mild repetition that you'd get from other such titles as Goat Simulator. Unfortunately, the wonky physics and obnoxious repetition get real old, real fucking fast. And yeah, it has all the elements of an actual game. It's not just a fuck around physics sandbox simulator. So it could, and it has absolutely no business being this boring, chory, whatever you want to call it. It could be better, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Also, as an added point, when you find yourself like thinking, okay, how do I properly execute this lift so that it does what I want? Like, no, I think about this shit in the gym. I should not have to think about it while I'm playing video games.